what's going on, guys? My name is Jonathan Estrada, or as Dr. Wheatley likes to say, Eric Estrada. Unfortunately, no relation. What I decided to do my research project on was an article by H. Peng titled "The Isolation and Differentiation of Human Mesenchymal Stem Cells Obtained from Second Trimester Amniotic Fluid, Experiments at the Chang'an Memorial Hospital." But before I start that, just to give a little background information about mesenchymal stem cells, or MSCs. Depending on where they are taken from, MSCs can either be multipotent or pluripotent, and they're kind of a hot topic right now just because they're playing a pretty big role in clinical regenerative medicine. Alright, just to highlight one of those treatments in the picture, a good one would be in regards to foot ulcers. Alright, sorry about the picture. I googled foot ulcer and tried to find the nastiest image that I could find. But yeah, MSCs can be used to regenerate that damaged tissue in the foot caused by an ulcer and pretty much save the foot from having to be amputated, so it's pretty cool. But back to the project. Basically what Peng did was he took 50 samples of amniotic fluid from women in their second trimester, and he basically tested that fluid to see if MSCs were actually present. And out of the 56 contained MSCs. Alright, the way he actually tested the amniotic fluid was he did an RT-PCR and looked for the protein OCT4, or octamer binding protein 4. And if that were to be present in the gel, whenever he did the gel electrophoresis, then that would be a positive result and show that there are actually MSCs present. Alright, so looking at the image of what the gel would look like under a UV light, you can see in lanes 1 and 2 that the OCT4 is present, but in 3 through 5, none are present. And just as a side note, that beta-actin, it was used more so as just an internal control. Alright, the way I like to think about the experiment is that Peng tried to identify these cells by looking for unique individual characteristics. So for example, in the MSCs, he looked for an OCT4 binding protein. So let's say if I were the MSC and the OCT4 represented, say, boyish good looks. Well, we'd assume that that test would come back positive, right? No, didn't come back. Okay. Just joking. Maybe back in my heyday, back in my prime.
Get your sexy up. Go ahead, get your sexy up.
So Peng found these MSCs. So what's next? The next step is he tried to induce differentiation. The first type of differentiation Peng tried to induce was osteogenic differentiation. And the way he did that was he put those MSCs into an osteogenic medium. Alright, so continuing on with the idea that I'm an MSC, how could I get myself to differentiate? Well, let's say that the osteocyte was represented by a Guido, and given the right certain cocktail or medium, such as, say, a Jaeger bomb, I would eventually differentiate into a Guido.
I'm turning in, I think it's time for me to go. I'd let you in, but I just wanna take it slow. Look a little closer, it's not.
Okay, so once I have actually differentiated, what kind of characteristics would Peng be interested in? Well, he had two in mind. The first thing he looked for was osteocalcin, and he did that by doing an RT-PCR and then gel electrophoresis, and tried to determine whether it was present. So we could say that osteocalcin was represented by excessive hair gel. The next thing he did was von Costa staining, which looks for calcium mineralization, which is characteristic in osteocytes, and that could be extremely tan skin. So that's another characteristic. Obviously, I have both those characteristics. Alright, so since I have both those characteristics, the logical conclusion would be that I'm a Guido, or an osteocyte. Make sense? Alright, so the next type of differentiation Peng tried to induce was adipogenic differentiation, which would create adipocytes. Alright, so in order to induce adipogenic differentiation, again, Peng had to provide a certain kind of medium. This time, he provided an adipogenic medium. So, if we continue on with our example, me, I'm an MSC, and let's say that adipogenic medium were crunk juice. Then that would help me differentiate into a wigger.
Always strap when I hit the club. Niggas give me dap. Bitch, give me hook, and since I'm paid, niggas be mugging me. You know I'm mugging.
Alright, now again, Peng had to look for certain characteristics. So, he did an RT-PCR on a gel electrophoresis, and he looked for a certain protein that's characteristic of adipocytes, which would be the adipocyte lipid binding protein. Or, in regards to a wigger, say excessively baggy clothing. Alright, the second characteristic that Peng looked for would be lipid vacuoles, which are characteristic of adipocytes. And he accomplished that by doing oil redo staining. So, again, continuing on with the example, these lipid vacuoles are represented by, say, constantly reciting raps. Randomly. But differentiation ain't one. Sorry for that one. Alright, so in conclusion, pretty much 3 main ideas that I got from the paper. 1. Alright, so the most common source for MSCs is usually adult bone marrow. But this project shows that amniotic fluid can be a viable source. 2. So not only can MSCs be isolated from amniotic fluid, but they can also be induced to differentiate. 3. Alright, and the final idea is that since these cells can be induced to differentiate, they could potentially play a major role in regenerative medicine in the future and the fight against disease. Alright guys, that's my presentation. Hope you enjoyed it, hope you learned a little something, and until next time.
Now when the sun come up, I'll be there to say what up in the morning. Brush my teeth, find that clip I've been looking for since last night. I feel so caught up in the bud.
No, dude, shh. Dude, shut up. This is my favorite part. Shh. Oh my god, he's gonna kiss her. Oh my god. Oh! What? No, I'm not recording this. At least, I hope not.